WFAU time, 9:30.
On this Thanksgiving morning, our Talkback operation is a live studio forum in which my wife Kay joins me in a second program experiment titled Letters to the Station, a sampling of the type mail received and the replies which we try to make. Today, there is opportunity to join us from the audience through your own telephone by dialing our familiar number 623-3878. We're in live broadcast. You can call at any time with question or comment having to do with the background mysteries of broadcasting, which isn't any mystery at all once we've, I think, tried to make an explanation. And in just a moment, Kay will be reading some of the letters received, and I shall in turn read the replies which have been made. Right now, we give pause in our pre-introduction as we make way with a message from one of our valued program supporters. Letters to the Station is based upon a couple of other type shows utilizing this technique, including such things as Letters to CBS and Ask the Manager. In our case, we utilize the husband-wife technique on Talkback, which was so popular in the days of the late Lou Gordon and his TV talk show. As such, Kay is back with me prior to turkey time this noon with a brief breakaway to handle a sampling of the type mail which comes to us on an ongoing basis.
Well, first off, Norm, I want to wish your listeners a very happy Thanksgiving. And despite all of our international crisis, we still have a lot to be thankful for here in the United States. Now, while we'll be reading letters, we'll also be accepting telephone calls, won't we, from anyone on the listening end who has a question and perhaps something that they've always wondered about but have never taken the time to ask. This is a good time.
And should that be the situation, again, our number here to dial is 623-3878, and you're invited to give us a call, and you need not give your name.
All right, now the first written item was in the form of a postal card from out of state. It's apparent from the question and type music inquiry that the person might be a music specialist. It says, will you play cassettes on your program of the Lewis-style songs?
Ted Lewis.
This is the Ted Lewis.
Type style
I didn't
song.
bring my glasses, so... and a sort of a mixture of pop and Dixieland, BMI cleared. Your comments, please.
First, an explanation about BMI. That's Broadcast Music Incorporated, a music licensing firm to which all broadcasters have to ante up cash sums of money for the music rights which they hold. There are also two other firms. There's ASCAP and there's also CSAC. However, on the answer to the letter, we said, since our station is formatted to a country western audience with such music as the base of programming, chances are that we would not be able to program as suggested in your inquiry. In some cases, as a program special or spectacular, we would have broken the music theme format. Such cases are rare, but they could occur through varied justification.
We do have breakaways, though, from country western on occasions, don't we?
Well, we do. As an example of it, Christmas time, we will convert our schedule to all Christmas music the day, a part of the day prior, Christmas Eve, and on Christmas Day itself. And we have examples like the Ben Scott Show and last year's big band segment that we were running for a time.
A listener asks, when you were running old-time radio, our family made it a regular practice to be by the radio at 5:30 p.m. And when the series came to an end, we were told that there was a possibility of the return of these marvelous programs. So far, everything has been silence. Is anything bound to happen in the future in this regard?
Well, in midsummer, we had prepared an elaborate lineup for the fall months. Now, part of the 5:30 series was to be concerned with old-time radio, and such features as the Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy Show, the Red Skelton Show, your Hit Parade, Duffy's Tavern, Grand Central Station, and Snow Village Sketches, but to mention a few, had been plotted as part of the series. Along with this, 3 days were to be devoted to Live at 5:30, a parade of local, pro, and semi-pro musical talent in a return to an art form that left the scene a long time ago. We were all excited about the possibility of this type programming, but frankly it laid an egg when we tried to interest commercial business companies of the area to underwrite the cost of such a series. It seems that only the customers were interested in this kind of radio programming, but the potential sponsors turned thumbs down. This oftentimes happens, and it's the case, and frankly a very discouraging kind of reception when you're out in the field and trying to sell such an idea.
Well, is there still a possibility that such an idea can be pulled out of the fire, Norm?
Well, never say no. It is possible. maybe we just have to try a little harder. The problem we have is the question, who do we see now? Or do we go back to these very same business houses and try once again? We had a lot of comment on the old-time radio series. It was very encouraging from the standpoint of the support that we were getting from listeners, but we had real troubles in trying to keep the commercial support to keep it going. And, you know, we were suddenly up to full quota on the back up to it. The next thing you know, somebody would cancel out. And we had this continuing problem of having to try to get somebody to pick up the end pieces of it to keep the thing going. So, well, as I say, we try, and this has just been a whole history, and this is the way that the whole thing operates. You try and you try again. We do have somebody on the line, so we're going to go to a telephone. And again, remind our listeners that this morning we're ready for questions or comments that you want to make. 623-3878. Good morning.
Good morning, Kay. Good morning, Norm.
Hey,
Good morning,
happy
Christy.
Thanksgiving to you.
Given to you, and I just want to say we want to give thanks to you for letting us express our opinions and get it out of our chest, too, you know, our system.
You feel better after
You know, you realize it or not, it makes us feel good even if we disagree.
You feel better after that, getting it off your chest.
I do. I just want to say that. But I have a little small question on it.
Yep.
I know program director is Del Truska, right?
Yep.
And what I wanted to know is how come the Mariners have priority from the Bruins and the Celtics, which is in a professional level. Is that a reason why? Or
You mean priority insofar as the broadcasts are concerned?
Yeah.
I really didn't consider it that way. We had a situation involved with all along, and actually the Bruins had taken first place.
Well, I notice a lot of times, you know what I mean, the Mariners is on AM and Bruins and Celtics is on the FM.
Right.
So I was just wondering, is that a priority or maybe because of advertising schedule or what?
The methods of feed. The methods of feed now. You got to understand this here. There are other stations that are depending upon us for Bruins games. And we have to put the Bruins into the FM signal in order for them to pick up from us.
Good enough for me, Norm.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and you have a nice day.
Hey, thank you very much for calling.
Run home because your turkey is burning.
Well, it's cooking right at this moment there. We left it on a slow cook, and it'll be ready, I hope, by noon.
Our daughter is home taking care of it right now.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, and thank you for calling.
Bye.
Yeah, bye now. 623-3878 is our telephone number. We've received one call. Of course, we're open to any other calls, questions that you may have in regards to this whole business of broadcasting. There are certain things that you may want to know about, and this is the morning and on this special Thanksgiving kind of day. We're going to take a brief pause in our activity. We take this break, and we'll be back in just a moment. Again, the phone number, 623-3878. Our program this morning, Letters to the Station. It's our Thanksgiving Day edition in which my wife Kay joins me in conversation and in which we extend an invitation to any of you on the listening end to join us for your own questions by giving us a call at 623-3878. We are in live broadcast. We are here at the studio, so the opportunity of calling in does present itself, and indeed we'd be most pleased to hear from you.
I have a letter here from Belgrade, from H.O. H.O. And she would like to know, why are you away so much from your program of Talkback? And is it possible that you take quite a few vacations throughout the year? Because oftentimes I tune in and I hear someone else taking your place as a substitute.
I hadn't anticipated that you would read that one, so I haven't answered that one yet. I think for a vacation, we had a half-day's vacation this year, and that did occur during an afternoon, so it didn't interfere with Talkback. There were other occasions when I was gone. Last week I was gone. I'll tell you a little more about that a little as we move along here. And let's see. There have been occasions also because of overnight meetings in the Maine Association of Broadcasters where I have had to go. I've had also to go to Washington on 2 occasions this year for 2.5 days, having to do with the National Association of Broadcasters and the Maine Association of Broadcasters, and those were business situations. But actually, and I would suppose last week, my 2.5 days, you could consider that as a vacation. But other than that, the only pure vacation so far this year has been a half day when we went to Booth Bay.
All right, all right. But I had to read this. I hope you didn't mind because it was among your letters.
I'll have to formally answer that letter.
All right. This is a note from R.E. of Augusta. It says, "Last Saturday I called the station in regards to the Coney Gardner game and the troubles you were having in broadcasting that game. The explanation on the air was technical difficulties, which didn't tell us anything. Your man at the studio is very courteous, and he suggested that I call back if I were interested to know what the technical difficulties meant. And instead of calling, I'm writing. Can you please answer my question?"
Since R.E. is interested in what happened, perhaps there are others out there who might like an explanation. The broadcast lines for the Coney season to Capitol Park for the home games had been ordered with the telephone company early in the season. There was an automatic disconnection which went along with that original order. However, since there was a change in the playing date of the Coney Gardner game, the order was later revised to extend the usage of that line through November 17th with a disconnect order for the 26th this past Monday. In order to place these orders, we have to work out of the Bangor telephone office. They don't do it locally. You have to be all in touch with Bangor. They in turn issue the paperwork and pass it along to telephone engineering in Augusta. What happened was this. Augusta received their paperwork but failed to pick up our extension of this service. They went by their original order, disconnected the line between Capitol Park and the telephone office. But that gave that pair of wires right now to another radio station, and they had put in a late order to do that game. And when it came to the pre-testing of the lines before the game, there wasn't a sound on our line because the line had been disconnected. What resulted was that the man at the telephone board, who couldn't find the extension order, who didn't know what pair had been assigned us, and who then scrambled around calling in linemen to help him. What they eventually had to do was to send a lineman to Capitol Park, and while the game was already well underway and we were waiting for a connection, they had to reinstall another line pair to the booth, feeding the central office, and to patch us through to the studio. That was the basic foul-up that occurred, and that's what was meant by technical difficulty, a failure on the part of people to follow through on what was basically a very simple instruction, but which was not carried through. Incidentally, I'd have further comment on this. This is very interesting. We've got a call here, and we're going to go to a call.
That was a very long answer,
too.
too.
It demanded a long answer if you really wanted to know what happened. This further comment is based on what I consider really a paradox here. Just last week, and I mentioned I would say this, I spent 2.5 days at Bedminster, New Jersey, the site of the American Telephone and Telegraph Long Lines Division, and the Bell Laboratories in Murray Hill, New Jersey, and saw some of the most sophisticated equipment and technology in today's telephone world. The system and the backup to telephone service throughout the country is perhaps the most mind-boggling kind of operation that you will ever see, unless the U.S. space program can top that performance. Anyway, with all of this technology, all of these automatic safeguards, all of this computerized kind of thing, it only takes people to foul up something. So maybe there's something to be said for the computer. If we had a computer here, maybe that problem would not have occurred. But it was a people problem, and the people problem was right there, and this is exactly what happened.
You want it on the telephone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Norm.
Hi, Mrs. B.
First thing I want to wish both you and Kay a very, very happy Thanksgiving.
That's
Thank
very
you.
nice
And
of
the
you.
same to you and your family.
Thank you, Kay. And I want to say that it's like Chris, I'll agree, that we have a wonderful opportunity to give our likes or our dislikes on this station. In other words, in my estimation, it's a family station. We're like the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're family.
And Red Sox, too.
Oh, definitely Red Sox. For sure.
That's a very nice comment, and we appreciate that. I'm sure Norm does through the year.
Yeah, well, Mrs. B has become one of our real regulars, and I think Mrs. B follows us from opening to closing. She watches television. She listens to radio, too.
You're darn right.
Same
I do.
time. How you do it, I don't know.
How do I do it?
How do you manage to do three? You're also knitting, or
I have a little small Sony battery radio that now, like, if the television's on and the Ben Scott show's on, I had that radio right up to my ear listening to the Ben Scott show and the television turned down.
I see. You're listening to radio sound, watching a TV picture, and knitting at the same time.
Well, but boy, I'm enjoying that Ben Scott show more.
I know you've been the most ardent supporter of the Ben Scott Show. I wish we had a lot of other people out there who express themselves the way you have, and we might have some guarantees. I know we're for the remainder of the month of November. What happens in December? I haven't heard yet.
Uh-huh. No, I saw in your notations where it's going to be in between the ball games this Sunday.
Yeah, we've had to make adjustments because of that, and you know how the games run at
It
times.
was on 5 o'clock last Sunday. It was okay. It was just fine, because when went out for supper, we just heard it out in the kitchen, and otherwise, I had it on in here, and they had it on out in the living room.
You know, I'll agree with you on something about it. There is a tendency on some people to say, oh, those are old 78 recordings that he's playing, but they have really reprocessed them. They sound terrific on the air. They sound just like a live band, don't they?
Wonderful. They really have. They brought back a lot of happy memories.
Well, this is maybe we're at that stage, you and I, and we reminisce a lot.
Oh, not you. You've got quite a few years to go yet.
You'd be surprised.
Your comments are so appreciative this morning, truly. Thank you very much.
And again, both of you, very happy Thanksgiving.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Okay.
You have a good day.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye now. 623-3878. We've heard from a couple of our listeners. I'm sure that there are others out there on the listening end this morning who may be busy between the turkey basting and all of the other activity, peeling up potatoes and things of this nature. But on the other hand, maybe you can break away for just a few seconds and give us a call. 623-3878. We'll take a brief break and we'll be right back. We're in the midst of a letters to the station kind of operation. Kay is with me this morning, and we're answering some of these questions that have come up, and also responding to telephone calls such as we have upcoming right now. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. The show I like to listen to, I don't see it, but is L'heure du dimanche.
Oh.
Norm Gallant.
Hi there. I think I recognize the voice.
You do?
Yep.
You've never seen me, have you?
Well, then I'm mistaken.
No.
I'm mistaken then.
No, you're not, I don't think. I don't know.
Yeah?
Is Chubby Roy works there, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Is he the engineer or what?
Yes, he's our chief engineer, Joe Roy.
Yeah, well, he's related to my sister, Chubby.
Oh. I know they call him Chubby. Why they call him Chubby, I don't know.
Oh.
He isn't that chubby.
No, that's for sure, but he's sure white, isn't he?
Yeah.
He turned white since I saw him last. Well, I wanted to say that I enjoy that every Sunday.
Well, I'm glad that you're...
I hope you can play next Sunday.
Yes?
And that's Cœur de Maman.
The show is already done for this Sunday, so...
Great, huh?
Yeah,
Live.
pre-taped, yeah.
Yeah.
Pre-taped.
Well, I hope you have a wonderful day.
Well, same to you, and I'm glad to get your call this morning.
Well, I enjoy FAU. I always have.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling.
Somebody else talk.
Okay, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
623-3878 is our telephone number. We got, I think, somebody on the phone, but it's being held up right now.
Well, here's another letter, Norm. Dear sir, I am so used to being a listener to your radio station. First thing in the morning, I used to turn on the radio and just love to hear the country music, news, and weather. Now, from 7 to 8, you have nothing but chatter, 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 and most of it, to me, is just plain dull. The electricity which I'm running, well, it's useless to turn on the radio whatsoever. I'm very rarely write this type of letter, but I want you to know how one listener feels. I'm sure I'm not the only one. In our house, that's not important whatsoever. Evidently, this is pertaining to the programs. As of now, I shall listen to another station that really plays some music. Sorry, a disappointed used-to-be listener.
I had a letter on that, and I couldn't find the answer to it. Basically, I think we're getting here a reaction from a really true blue country western listener. And the problem there is, of course, that they really... When you get somebody who's really really fanatic about the thing, all they want is music all the time. There are other services which radio stations have to perform. And we find that the 7 to 8:30 segment of the morning is a traveling kind of an audience where you've got to impart a lot of information. The news, the weather, the sports, the late happenings, featurettes, which are a part of the whole morning concept. We provide this as an as an extra for our listeners. You know, there are other segments of the day where the music holds forth and it becomes the major and prime thing. It's just like the sports. We have to break away from the music to bring sports to our listeners. And as a result, we're performing these services for different people. What we're doing in the 7 to 8:30 is we are providing traffic information. Traffic information. I mean, people who are on the road, people who are going to work, people who are going to school. This information is essential because there are very, very important things that occur. And if we were to just go to simply nothing but music, all we'd be is an entertainment medium. And radio is more than an entertainment medium. It's also an informational medium. We believe that this is an important service that is being rendered to the community, and these features like Earl Nightingale and the Ripoff, the Spectrum series, are all part of something that should be imparted so that you get a better overall balance of what is taking place in the world today. You just can't hide behind music all the time and say this is a world of fantasy. It's a world of reality, too.
Very good answer. We have a wonderful card here from a dear old listener from way back when. This is a lovely Thanksgiving card, and it's from Mrs. Whitten, and we certainly appreciate that. I'm sure you do. It's to all the staff here at WFAU.
Mrs. Whitten has been one of our reliable listeners over the years with cards. At every holiday, we always can expect to get a card from her, and we certainly appreciate her as a listener.
You also got some others,
We received
too.
also a card from the Dyketts down in the Hollowell area. They are real country western people. We appreciated that. The old-timer called this morning, and I guess he's probably basting the turkey right now. He couldn't talk during the show unless this is he. We're going to call. Good morning. Hello?
Hello, this you, Norman?
Hey there.
You know this?
Well, yes, we were just reading your card. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really,
Well,
I just
it's
came
lovely.
to call you up.
Well, thank you. That was very nice of you, and thank you for our card, too.
We've got it right in front of us.
I want to wish you and Norman and Kathy a wonderful Thanksgiving Day.
Well, that's nice, and I hope you having a big turkey, too?
No.
No turkey.
Well, I didn't have a turkey this year. I having a shoulder.
That's good.
He didn't want no turkey.
I see.
I wanted to tell you, I listen to your program all day long, and I like everything, the rip-off and all of them.
You don't object because we break away for information and news,
I
huh?
do not. No.
Well, see, we got a satisfied customer there.
I like everything.
We appreciate your call this morning.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
And you have a good day, Mrs. W.
I sure will. You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye now. Let's go to another line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
I need your blessing this morning. I'm going over to feed Clyde today.
Oh.
And the rest of the family have gone down to Connecticut, and I'm glad they can go. And I've invited 2 guests, and we are going over, and as I say, to feed Clyde. And you know how I approve of your program, and I hope my old radio will last because I have it on the first thing in the morning and the last thing at night and so on, and I have written you so you know.
Thank you very much for your comments, and have a nice Thanksgiving with Clyde.
And thank you, and I know you folks will have, and as I say, do bless me today.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye now. Let's go to another line. Good morning.
Morning, Norm.
Hi.
Wish you and your wife and everybody
Hey.
at WFAU a happy Thanksgiving.
Farmer Bill, I haven't heard from you in a long while.
Yeah, and I enjoy your program, especially the 5 o'clock news. You seem to get a good half hour there of a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
And,
well,
have a good holiday.
hey, it's nice hearing from you. How's everything down in Pittston?
All fine.
Yeah. You traveling every day?
Oh, yeah, I'm growing a beard, so I've already grown it, so it won't be so cold this winter around my face.
Good idea.
That's called insulation.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Natural
Bye-bye.
insulation. Thank you.
Now,
Yeah.
pertaining to some of our letters, there was a letter that was written prior to Thanksgiving Day, and they were wondering if we were going to do the family affair, and also wondered where our daughter was, so maybe you can answer that right away. This is from E.G. from Farmingdale.
What? were they referring to what we did here last year?
Yes.
On Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, I wondered if we were
yeah,
going to
last
have a
year,
family.
a year ago, that's right. A year ago today, or I don't know if it, holidays throw me. They change all the time. I guess Thanksgiving is pretty
Yes.
stable though. We did a broadcast right from the house because we had a line in there at the time, and the whole family was around. It was part of a little Thanksgiving celebration. Well, unfortunately, the line is out, and so we decided we'd do this alternative kind of show this morning in order to get a feedback from some of our listeners. So we won't be doing it. On the other hand, the other question was regards to daughter. She's working at another country western station, WPOR, down in Portland.
Yes.
That answers
Yes.
that.
Okay.
And that about winds up things for this morning.
We haven't
I do
finished all our letters.
I know it. We'll do that again. This is experimental program number 2 in letters to the station, and we will try this at another time. And assuming another time, we'll get some other input from those of you on the listening end. Tomorrow we'll be back. Let's see what's tomorrow. Let me take a check at that. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a show on the gasoline update, and Phil Pimentel will be coming back in the show and answering some of these critical questions with regards to the gasoline. Thank you, Kay.
I'll go back to
see
the
you.
turkey now.
Everybody, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes,
Tomorrow,
bye-bye.
9:30.